Hey kids, welcome back to Uncle Fezzi's Mad Lab. What's Uncle Fezzi up to today? Why is Uncle Fezzi's lawnmower sitting on the bench with no fuel tank on it? Well, truth be told, I just let this thing sit out all the time. I don't really give a shit about it. In the past, I've gone through this whole big rigmarole of winterizing all of my equipment, and at the end of the day, the thing still didn't want to start in the spring. So I got to a point where I just said hell with it, and I just leave it sit where it sits. It runs for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes once a week during the summer, and then it sits the rest of the year. I bought this thing in 2018, and ironically enough, my wife can get it to start in one pull. I can't get it ever to get it to start without 2 + 2 in the summer, in the beginning of the season. After that, it works just fine. So yesterday, I went to go cut my overly long grass in the side yard where I use this thing, and went to check it because they ain't got no gas. And the little rat bastard fucking squirrels had chewed a hole in the top of my fuel tank. I'm going to get a little philosophical for a second here. In my youth, I killed 1,000 squirrels. In my old age, I've come to believe that everything deserves to live. The squirrels are testing my patience. But that being said, I will not be ending the squirrels. And they eat my duck food. And I think they're funny to watch. So, I reached out to our friend Jeff in Amazon. I don't have a knife on me. And after some deep dive looking, I found what I'm hoping is going to be as much of a direct replacement as I could possibly get from our Chinese friends. Alright. Made in China. It looked as much as it could look like on the box. This tank is a little bit different right off the bat from the original, because the original had this little extra thing on it. Well, this little extra piece of plastic goes in a hole up here for the air filter. Right there. There's a little cutout for it. And I guess, I don't know what that's for. And I don't care because I don't give a shit about it. It came, looks like, this is literally just out of the box. Oh, there's no gas in it. And it'll flow through. Let's see if it fits. Son of a bitch. It actually fits. Now, I guess the question is, why didn't I fix this one? Well, I didn't fix this one because I don't know what kind of plastic this is. My assumption is that it's polyethylene. Now, you can weld polyethylene. You can weld polyethylene, and I could have probably welded this hole shut. But to be honest with you, this was $30. So it was a little expensive, but the amount of time it would have taken me to weld that back up, it just wasn't worth it to me. I'm getting a little old and lazy. What it did come with is a new piece of fuel line, which I don't know whether or not I'm going to use, and 2 new clamps, which is kind of cool too. So underneath it here is the old fuel line, and not for nothing, it doesn't look bad, even though this thing lives outside 365 days a year, unless I'm working on it in the garage, and I'm not even in the garage because the last thing I wanted to do was spill skanky, water-filled gasoline, got some gasoline, eh? Over the inside of my garage. What's that? Oh, it's a screw. from a different project. Okay, so I can't believe this thing fits. Let's see if the cover fits. So I know years and years and years of experience has taught me that for the most part lawnmowers are all the same engine, except there's just enough stuff different on them that when you go to buy a part, oh, it fucking fits. I'm shocked. I've had 2 projects go right this morning. Something's gonna go wrong. I'm gonna get hit by a car or something. Oh, and if anybody cares, Tiki's just fine. Yeah, at least she's as fine as she ever was. So let's it even fits that way. Holy crap. Oh, it doesn't fit that way. Okay, so we're gonna take that back off of there. Ooh. I didn't bring them out with me. I've got special pliers, 2 different types of special pliers here. Well, these are just Cobra Grip channel locks. But I have another pair of pliers. It's got like they're made for taking hoses off. And then this is actually, if you're not familiar with these, I highly recommend buying a pair if you do any kind of mechanical work. These are specifically designed to take this type of clamp off. Okay, so it has this little dooflicky here, and that thingamabobber there, that goes like that, that goes like that, and you can actually lock the pliers in. If you don't own a pair of these, I highly recommend them. And I think I'm going to change this clamp because of that. These clamps suck. I don't like these. So we are going to change this clamp right there. And that's part of the reason I don't like them. I don't get caught by something later. But this should slide right on here. Oh, you rat bastard. Made an asshole out of me. You can cheat these by going like this. So this hose is pretty expanded and swelled and shitty, and I should probably just change it. Yeah, you know what? We're gonna just change that. Just to make my life a little easier. And lawnmowers generally, they change them just enough that getting parts for them can be a pain in the ass. I generally just throw my lawnmowers away. But this one's relatively new. Hopefully the carburetor's not plastic. No, we gotta get a knife. Because I had to go in the shop and grab the tools. These need a trip to the orthodontist because I bent them years ago. But so this fits around the pipe. I'll show how it works actually. So this fits around the hose, and it doesn't grip it too tight. And then you can pull it, put it back here, and give it a little business. But we're throwing this hose away anyway, so we're just going to cut the hose. Oh, that is plastic. Ooh. Oh, the fucking carburetor is plastic. Son of a bitch. Glad I thought about it. I'm glad I looked at that. Because if I'd have kept yanking on it, I'd have snapped the barb off the carburetor. We're going to spray some 2+2 in there because I know there's water in there. Because when I emptied the other tank, water came out of it. Shocking, right? We're going to make that about the right length. Just going to cut it. We're just going to cut this. Cut towards yourself, kids. There you go. Nice crooked cut. Excuse the background noise. My neighbors are still having a pool installed. And it's freezing. Son of a bitch. And it's still freezing cold here in Philadelphia. yeah, it's still freezing cold in Philly because it's March or April. You know, why would it be warm in April in Philadelphia? My fingers are freezing. I should put a pair of gloves on. Always put the clamps on first, kids. And we're going to shove that on there. Now, these clamps actually are soft enough. Those other ones are real tight, and they I couldn't squeeze them with my fingers. My old arthritic fingers just couldn't squeeze it. We're going to stick that on there. Another thing I should have mentioned was it probably would have been a good idea to put a little bit of 2+2. All right, so the angle on the fuel line is a little different, but it's not kinked, so we're going to live with it. Now, the cover only had 3 screws in it, which is shocking. I worked on a lot of lawnmowers and lawn equipment in my day. I'm a fucking mechanic, right? I'm supposed to be a mechanic. And I generally avoid working on lawn equipment just because my number one hate lawn equipment job is chainsaws. I just throw them away. Even though I did just buy a steel, which I had to take back because the steel, or still, however you want to call it, they leaned the carburetor out so much that the damn thing didn't want to run. And I wasn't playing with it because fuck you, it's still under warranty. That's why I bought it. Took it back to where I bought it from, and the dude fixed it because he had the right tools, and then he showed me the right tool because I've never had the right tool to adjust one of those little bastard carburetors. He showed me the right tool, and then I ran off to, again, our friends, our Chinese friends, and bought the right tool. Air cleaner's flying. Okay, so this thing literally runs for about 5 minutes, once, maybe twice a week this time of year. That's not tightening up. There it goes. We're just gonna nip this fucker in the bud. Give it a little shot of 2+2. I have to go get gasoline because I ain't got no gasoline. I don't have any gasoline, eh? Alright. And that goes on there like that. Goes on there like that. Go get some gas. Okay, so as expected, this piece of shit didn't want to start. Why would it? It had fuel or it had water in the fuel tank, and it sat all winter long with no fuel in it. I usually fill it up, but you know, it doesn't matter because fucking squirrels chewed a hole in the gas tank, and it would have just filled up with water anyway, creating a different hazard. So, if you're not familiar with modern lawnmowers, the greenies have turned the carburetors into basically unadjustable, non-adjustable, non-throttleable. You can't speed them up. You can, but it's a governor that keeps it from over revving. Well, if you ever have a lawnmower that doesn't want to run right, which 9 times out of 10 in the spring they don't want to run right, it's because it's got shit in it. Well, I'm going to show how to fix that right now. Okay, so you're going to have to deal with that. Let me see. Yeah, that's about as good as that's going to get. So the first thing you need to do is circumvent the safety devices, because, you know, safety devices are for pussies. So you always want to circumvent their safety device, no matter what. now that we've effectively circumvented the only thing that keeps you from chopping your toes off, you know, basically the dead man switch, is it's impossible to show what I'm going to do here. But behind the carburetor, behind this piece of plastic, which I'm not going to cut off, is an actual throttle. So this works off of a governor, right? So it wants to keep it at a steady rate. The first thing I had to do was, and I showed in the video, I pre-sprayed some 2+2 into the bowl. But I also had to give it a little bit of love into this one hole down here where the throttle plate is. Let's see if it'll start again, and if it will, I'll show exactly what I had to do to get it to run. Hopefully it's going to run. Hopefully it's going to start. We might be able to do it from here. This lawnmower is real low compression, so it's pretty easy to pull. Backfire. Nope. So basically what I did was I over revved the shit out of the engine and cleared any of the gunk that would have been clogging up the jet. These are non-adjustable jets. I also I had put a good bit of 2+2 in this, so that's another thing you can do is when you stick your screwdriver in here, you over rev the shit out of it so it's like it's almost ready to take off, and you spray some 2+2 in there to clean out the idle jets. Well, there you go. And I didn't cut my fucking toes off yet. So, now I can go stall it because the grass where I have to cut is way too high because, of course, I drug my feet. And it's been raining here for a week. Well, there you go. Fucking squirrels.